This podcast is part of Another Happy Studios,
the home of podcasts with passion.
Hello and welcome once again to Talking Pictures Podcast. I'm your host David and joined with me as always my co-host Brian. Brian, how are you today?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I just noticed that the bad guy in this movie did that a few times after hitting a few torpedoes and causing damage to respective Federation ship after attacking them essentially. Declaring war.
My name's Captain Christopher Pike. Hello, Christopher. Like he just randomly will just like, hello, he's just a regular dude.
Yeah. After declaring fucking war like that and causing havoc, committing murder, like near genocide. And he just goes on to the comms and says, hello.
Welcome to Talking Pictures Podcast. If you're new here or if you're a returning listener, welcome. Make sure that you are subscribed to us on your favourite podcasting app of choice to never miss an episode. We have new episodes every single Wednesday as well as bonus episodes every other weekend. Normally we would do new episodes except every now and again we do a spotlight episode on a film that has come out in the past that we would like to shine a spotlight on, and today is that day. We're going to be doing Star Trek 2009 directed by J.J. Abrams. Brian, be honest, were you a Star Trek kid or were you a Star Wars kid?
Star Wars.
I think everyone in our generation was. I think Star Wars was the predominant franchise of our childhoods. And it wasn't until this film came out did we even think of Star Trek as being a possibility. In my mind, Star Trek was always a dad show. That was something my dad watched.
Yeah.
And it was Star Trek The Next Generation.
Fair enough. Star Trek came out first before Star Wars.
Oh, years before.
In television. Or was it movie form
No,
first?
it was TV.
And then the motion picture came.
And I think there's 7 films.
Oh, there's
a lot.
I listened to the run through recently and I forget, but there's a lot. And
I think it's a situation where it's like every other Star Trek movie is good. I've watched all the Star Trek movies. I've never seen the original run.
I was told that the even ones are good and the odd ones are not.
That's it, yeah.
For some reason, that's how it works. You see, we're both born in 1997. We grew up with Star Wars in that of the prequels.
Absolutely.
That's why it dominated our childhoods in terms of a franchise named Star in its title. So, like, Steve Rogers opened up his little notebook after
Star Wars brackets Trek. Like, he has to do both.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I must check that out. Oh, I've heard that. Okay. I thought that was funny, so I kind of feel the same in a way. And it's interesting looking back now that after doing the likes of Mission Impossible 3 and I believe not Super 8, no. What did J.J. Abrams direct?
I think it might have only been Mission Impossible 3. Oh, he did Lost. He did the pilot for Lost. That's where he got his start. Because I was looking up his filmography there, and J.J. Abrams is very much a franchise director. He did Mission Impossible, he did 2 Star Trek films, and he did 2 Star Wars films. The only other films that he has there are Super 8, which is an original film, and then he's got an upcoming one with Glenn Powell. But like, most of his filmography is franchise movies.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but after what he did with Star Trek 2009, he was the man to get for Star Wars. And just like Star Wars, he brought life back into Star Trek for a modern day audience.
Yeah. Because he did both Star Trek films before he went on to do Star Wars.
Yeah. And it's like, that does feel like, oh, you're ascending into the higher prestige aspect of the heavens in that of Star Wars.
Yeah,
because
Star Wars at that point, the last one had been 2005 with Revenge of the Sith, and then the next one would have been The Force Awakens in 2015. So it's 10 years between. We're launching. This is new under Disney. We want to launch it big. Who do we get? Oh, this guy brought life back into Star Trek. Let's see what he does with Star Wars.
Yeah,
arguably the bigger franchise.
It is arguably the bigger franchise, but in defense of Trekkies, it's a bigger franchise in the movie world.
Absolutely.
You recently told me Star Trek thrives better the TV world. Look how many TV shows they have ongoing and how successful they are compared to the likes of some Star Wars shows.
Star Wars only ventured into TV really from The Mandalorian. Although I know that we would have had the likes of the Clone Wars and maybe even Rebels before. Yeah, definitely Rebels before.
Yeah.
But Star Wars TV only started when Disney Plus launched, which was 2019.
Milking the franchise for what they can get their hands on.
Whereas Star Trek always started in TV, and that's where it lived. And it was these movies that came along that were like the outliers.
Yeah, it was good for that time to get movies from a TV show to see the continuing adventures of characters. And
It was an event.
it was an event.
It's a
It was
big thing.
an event situation. And from my earliest memory, this is my introduction to Star Trek, this movie. And I never saw it in cinemas. And I recall going to evening class called Rainbows. That's where kids go to talk about their feelings when your parents get divorced. And I recall,
I wouldn't know.
it's just one of those classes. And I just recalled one of the students in my school, in my class, that he saw the movie in the cinema and he said it was boring or it was shit because there wasn't enough action in it. And I thought, remember, we're kids, like 5th class. What are we, 9?
If it was 2009, we would have been 12, so probably 6.
Well, I'm trying to cut myself a bit of slack, but no. So I watched it on DVD, and I guess I was a little bit impatient because I never really fell in love with it. It wasn't fun. Star Wars is fun, but as you said, Star Trek is something your dad would watch, your parents would watch. It's for adults.
You're right. Star Wars is made for kids, but Star Trek is made for adults.
Yeah.
And Star Wars is more fun, but
Like, when you're watching this movie, let's say in particular, there's an awful lot of dialogue scenes, and there's a few moments throughout where it's like every 10 pages you gotta have something upbeat going, you gotta have something happening here. It's like your man, the producer, talking to Kevin Smith when he's talking about his Superman pitch in his script, and he says, yeah, you're just missing some beats, you gotta have some action beats. And I noticed in this movie the moment where Chris Pine goes, ah, and he lifts his hands up into frame and they're like all swollen.
Yeah.
I like the delivery Chris Pine did as an actor, because he wakes up thinking of something else and he goes, ah, like it's really like caught him off guard. It's like, what the fuck?
there's some great comedic moments
yeah.
in this film, and they're not like, you wouldn't describe them as like MCU comedy moments.
No.
It's genuine, like within the moment, within the story itself, things are happening that just so happen to be funny.
And that's a situation, like a high speed chase with Chris Pine as Kirk trying to solve a situation while Bones is trying to fix him. That feels like a typical Star Trek thing, or if not a thing in any type of story, depending on the genre. And then there's another one where Simon Pegg gets stuck in the tube, and that's like a water, like, he's stuck in the water and he's going to go into a propeller unless Chris Pine gets him out. So naturally, that's a bit of an action scene, but not so much an action scene.
It's played more for laughs than it is, but it's not like played for laughs. It's a funny action scene.
Yeah, well, it's a situation to get out of. Like, there's no guns and there's no explosions and there's no real threats from enemies. That's pretty much at the start. Prologue, the crossing of the threshold when Commander Pike is taken hostage, and then I guess by extension the situation on Vulcan, and then at the end, in the last like action third act battle. So there's not so much action in this movie, and I say there was a good portion of my life I've watched this movie. I watched the sequel, Into Darkness, when it came out, and when Beyond came out, I went to cinema to watch it, and of course I liked it, but I never went back to watch these previous. But I did liked the movies as they came out. I liked the cast, I appreciated them, I wanted more, I still do. And I'd say last year around November, I watched this Star Trek movie, still with the mentality that it was looked down upon, that it was not as prestigious as the original movies are, as what at the time not up to par to the Star Wars films, at least Star Wars in the sense of what we thought was the return to the glory of Star Wars. But
you still had it in your head what that 12-year-old said to you. You just
not
took his opinion, and then you kind of...
Not necessarily that. It was more so the worldwide reception of Star Trek in this movie, that J.J. Abrams didn't know how to firm his hand on it, and it's not Star Trek like it once was. Let's go back, and it feels like every Star Trek that is coming out now since this trilogy is what Star Trek should be, or what the fans wanted. So like, this is what I wrote in my review. I grew up with this movie being my introduction to Star Trek as something more than an old sci-fi TV show. So any references and lore did go over my head. And with the recent Star Trek content in that of Discovery, Strange New Worlds and Picard, it towered over this movie, which is referred to as the Kelvin timeline. And it felt like this was not as prestigious, and I fell victim to that mentality because I hadn't watched it in so long. And so since we haven't had another Star Trek in the Kelvin timeline since 2016, that mentality grew and grew and grew until I watched this movie a little over around November of 2024. And after watching it, hands up, it's a really great movie.
This movie is absolute cinema. It is freaking awesome. It's great. I put it up there with Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Like, for the level at which it's so enjoyable. Like, there's no bad aspect of it. I if anyone came to me and said, yeah, this isn't good, I would fight them on it. There's no part of it that isn't just a great thrill ride. And the way that it's structured, where you get the whole initial sequence, you know, where the Romulans come through the black hole, and you're thrust into the middle of, you don't know what's going on, you don't know which characters are which.
Honestly, I've said it before, I've said it a few times, we're starting this movie in the heightened situation of a battle. What movie that is due to come out in 2026 that I have said I would like it to start off?
Avengers Doomsday.
Exactly.
The way that whole battle starts, and you're just kind of thrown into it, you don't know what's going on, what time, like, you don't even know kind of what universe you're in.
You're going into this movie, let's say the average Joe, knowing, oh, it's a new Star Trek movie. Whether you know or you don't know,
you go into it thinking it's they're rebooting Star Trek.
Yeah,
that's how we're going into it. And
you don't even know if it's supposed to be in canon, like what Superman Returns was, or if it's literally as this is a reboot. And you're thrown into this movie, you don't even really recognize many names. When of course the captain,
now you do.
Of course.
I mean it's a great cast that after this movie came out in 2009, almost every single person in that cast has gone on to.
I meant you don't recognize character names in.
The character names.
Character names. Yeah. Up until the captain says, "You have the bridge, Captain Kirk," and so we're all looking at this not so jawline Chris Hemsworth.
This unknown actor.
He is unknown.
He's not Thor at this
Chris
point.
Hemsworth, before he was Thor, be referred to as Kirk. Okay, so we're probably thinking it's Captain Kirk we know. What's his first name again? James. Jesus, I forgot. Jim.
God damn it, Jim.
I know. And we don't even know who these Romulans characters are. Do they look like any type of Romulan race or subgroup that we know them from? No. They're asking questions that we're a little bit confused on in terms of what's the status of Romulus, their planet, and where is
Ambassador Spock.
Yeah. That might throw a few people off, thinking Ambassador Spock. So are there people that are thinking, oh, so is this after the events of the franchise that we knew the likes of Leonard Nimoy and the actor who played Kirk? What's his name?
William Shatner.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blanks all day. Hopefully it's not going to be the rest of the episode.
I think that whole sequence sets up the film really, really well, of leaving it just open-ended enough where when he asks what's the star date, you know immediately, okay, these guys are, what's the date?
Yeah.
You know that they're from the future. You get a little tiny glimpse of the hologram, Ambassador Spock.
Yeah.
And if you're an eagle-eyed viewer, you recognize that's Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
And in your mind, you can easily go, oh, okay, then these guys are from the future, and this is now the kind of origin story to get to that original Star Trek series.
Yeah.
And whatever Spock we're going to see is going to grow up into the Leonard Nimoy Spock.
Perceived as a prequel in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is a prequel to the original series.
Similar to Superman Returns, how they use archival footage of, I'm blanking again, what's the Godfather's name?
Marlon Brando.
He played Superman's father in the original Superman, the movie. He's came up in the Fortress of Solitude in Brandon Routh.
Yeah.
Superman movie. So you're thinking they're maintaining connections even though they've recasted primarily everyone.
And so as the movie progresses onwards, and things are just ever so slightly different, and it's not enough for if you're a casual viewer to notice or anything like that, and then halfway through the movie they just pull the biggest twist on you and you're like, what is going on? Oh my god. And they explain it so perfectly. I think that what this movie does as a time travel movie and a reboot is it's just excellently executed, where the film acknowledges the fact that yes, we're rebooting it, but everything that came before all still happened.
Yeah.
It's just now we're in a different timeline.
It's no different than at the end of Avengers Secret Wars. They go back in time and they change everything. We as an audience know what happens. But everything going forward will be different.
Yeah, and it just, the way that they have the reverence for the original series, that when Leonard Nimoy shows up and he talks about Jim, and he's talking about the William Shatner Jim, you know, my old friend. And
he's literally delivering the line he said when he was dying in The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
You are and have always been my friend.
Yeah. And you can pay homage to that, and you can, like, all these things happen. And if you're a lifelong Star Trek fan, it's like, oh, they haven't rebooted it. It's now just a different timeline. And that's, you know, where it comes in. The Kelvin timeline is that the initial battle where Chris Hemsworth dies, Jim's father dies, that never happened in the original timeline. And ever since then, now it's been ever so slightly different. So they don't have to, they can respect the things that came before, make this appear to be somewhat of a prequel. It's the origin story of the Star Trek, the Enterprise crew, but yet are able to do their own thing completely. I just think that everything it does there of being a prequel, a reboot, and a time travel film, they do all three aspects. Like, when has any other film done that and also made it an entertaining and fun film? I just think it does all three of those aspects excellently.
Another film did do that, but then you said an entertaining film.
What else?
Terminator Genesis.
Terminator Genesis tried to be a sequel, prequel. What did it try and do? It tried to reboot it while also being a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in canon.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an everything, and it was still a mess anyway.
You know what I hate? And this is not yet, this is, Terminator is guilty of this, just while we're on it. It's when a franchise says, we're doing a sequel to this movie, but we're not counting any of the other films. Halloween is guilty of it, where I
liked it until the movies were shit.
The first one was okay.
The first one was very good.
But I think
the second one and onwards were shit, and then I said, no, it's not a good idea because you're not capable of executing something very decent.
I just think that if you have a movie franchise, you have the franchise, the movies are made, whether they're good or bad, you have to acknowledge them. You can't just go, yeah, we're just doing a sequel to these two and we're discounting them. And Terminator also did it, where Terminator
Dark Fate did.
Dark Fate, yeah.
It
sorry.
did retcon it.
Sorry, when you initially were talking there, you said Genesis, and I was thinking Dark Fate. But Dark Fate tried to, they said, oh, we're doing a sequel to Terminator 2, so we're not doing it to 3. But Genesis, you're right, Genesis was a reboot, but also in canon.
It was.
Yeah, because they sent the Terminator back. Yeah, we'll get off Terminator because that's not worth talking about. But I'm just saying, I don't like when people make a sequel to a franchise and they say, oh yeah, we're not counting these ones, we're only doing these ones. But anyway, this movie can do it all. What does it fail at? I don't think it fails at anything. I think that you're saying, that kid back in class, he said,
I feel like I want to move off him because I soured it because I'm watching this movie and say, I don't need the action. The action's secondary.
But I don't think that it lacks action at all. I think that this movie has some great action set pieces.
It does.
In minimal aspects and in massive aspects.
Yes.
Like, it opens with a fantastic space battle that is, not only is it a fantastic space battle, it's emotional. And it also is a major plot element. It's not action for action's sake.
Yeah.
You find out later on that these Romulans are, for them, they've just come through the portal. They've just witnessed their planet die, and all of a sudden they meet a Federation ship. The Federation probably refused to help them. That's why they had to go to Spock. So it's like, it all plays in together, and it's a fantastic action sequence of the Kelvin fighting off the ship while the escape pods are leaving, and the torpedoes are like there's a torpedo that almost gets one of the escape pods and like a phaser hits it, and then this moment and then a childbirth as well. James T. Kirk, our protagonist, is being born in that moment, and the emotional conversation that Chris Hemsworth and Jim's mom and dad have, where they're naming their son.
Yeah.
And, we could name him after your dad. And Chris Hemsworth, Tiberius, that's awful. That's a terrible name. And it's just such an emotional moment as well. And they have, like, you watch the countdown, like, it's brilliant. It does so much in that one action scene.
Yeah. The start of that battle was a woman being thrusted out into vast of space.
Yeah.
After a hole was blown into the walls.
And that's how you know that this isn't Star Wars. People die in these. Like, yes, people die in Star Wars, but not like this.
Here they don't disappear.
Yeah, they don't get
cloaks.
Sucked out into space. Yeah. Like, it's so much more mature.
And how aggressive that Romulan Nero, yeah. Euro. he went to kill the captain. After he started asking a question too many. He said, where are you from?
Yeah.
Who are you? And he ejected the blades from his staff and just charged at him out of anger because he just watched the destruction of his home planet. And
it's the destruction of his home planet, and also realizing that he's now stuck in the past.
I always felt that was a secondary issue. It never struck me that he was, because his home planet was dead, his whole family was dead. All he has was his vessel that he used for work. Like, they're not a military.
No, it's a mining ship.
Yeah, which feeds into what they're capable of doing when they do it on Vulcan and then again on Earth. Wait, I like that these like average Joes who are just the honest labormen are the villains of this movie. Now, while I think that Nero is not he's not an overly great villain. He's actually a sickening cunt, to be honest. Like, he's he's very sour. There's like when he's interrogating Pike, and he's being blunt in his respect when asking Pike questions. And he says, "Passcodes, please." Have your way then. Like, there's no like back and forthness in negotiation. It's like his way, and it's the only way. And there's nothing really to him. And I like that Eric Bana plays him. But there's a reason when I think of the Kelvin timeline movies. That's why I'm thinking with the likes of Benedict Cumberbatch more, as well as Idris Elba more. Unfortunately, Eric Bana, he's hidden very well under those prosthetics.
I'm the opposite.
Why?
I think Eric Bana and Benedict Cumberbatch. I forget Idris Elba's in it. I think he's really hidden under that.
Who?
Idris Elba. He's really hidden under the.
But I'm not saying Idris Elba and Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm saying I'm referring to like the characters' names as well as the actors. What I'm trying to say is Khan and I'm going to say Kratos because I can't remember Idris Elba's character in Star Trek Beyond's name. So for the sake of this, his name is Kratos. And I'm not going to go through the hassle of looking up on Letterboxd. I'm sticking with Kratos. You have a problem? Send in an email. But Eric Bana, or Nero, Nero, he's a serviceable villain. But there's nothing else to him, and he's quite hateful. And when he gets his comeuppance, it's justified. Especially after the genocide he committed. The act he commits in this film is so Titan like. The fact that it happens in the new timeline for Star Trek fans to follow. Well, I, as a fan in today's age, would question, was that the right choice? Think of it as if, rather than the Death Star blowing up Alderaan, if they were to redo Star Wars in the same vein as they did Star Trek here, time travel but acknowledging the event still happened, rather than them blowing up Alderaan, what if they blew up Naboo or Coruscant or Yavin, a more
prominent
planet that you're gonna go, but if that planet's gone, it's gonna heavily impact the narrative going forward. And so you're thinking here, Nero demolished Vulcan, the home planet of one of the fan favorite characters of this franchise, with also 6 billion losses, and that planet's gone.
And it's also in those other movies, it's a like central planet like that they go to often. You know, so when you're watching that, and it's all before the reveal that this is a fresh timeline, that you're kind of watching it and going, hold on, like this isn't right. Like Vulcan, I know Vulcan is alive. Like Vulcan was never destroyed. What are they doing here? So you kind of, you have it in your head of, you know, when you're initially watching it that first time, it's like, okay, it's a full reboot. It's not a prequel or anything like that. They're going their own direction altogether.
But then to have that, what I call probably my favourite scene in the film, it's after Pike has been taken hostage. The Enterprise escapes. Spock is command of the bridge. And they're discussing what just happened, what just transpired, how Nero was able to acknowledge Spock and pretty much put two and two together. They're from the future. Them coming back 25 years ago, causing a rift in the timeline and destroying the Kelvin, which set off an entirely different path for everyone's destinies. And Spock says the line, well, Spock says in this scene, in his delivery, in what you'd expect Spock to say, that the very course of our destinies have now been changed. Whatever we were in one time of our lives, we are not anymore. And that is the scene to solidify to fans and audiences understanding that you are the characters I know. But you're not going to end up doing what I've known have done from watching throughout my life.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was a very good scene. What do you make of that?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's like a realization for the characters within the movie that now they know, oh, something is off here. It's like it's not a fourth wall break, but it's the characters in their own movie know that their lives now should be a different way, you know, and it all stemmed back from when the Romulans came through that black hole, because had they not come through the black hole, it would have fully been the original timeline.
And as far as exposition goes, it's ice cream.
Yeah,
Lovely,
not heavy.
Loving to eat it up.
Mm-hmm.
But back to what I was saying, when Nero destroys Vulcan, it's very unfair to see that planet get destroyed and Romulus doesn't. And I say that probably because the Romulans are the villains in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very unfair, I think.
What do you mean?
Nero is now in a timeline where he gets to prevent the destruction of his home planet, but he destroys Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, rather than take the opportunity to take upon yourself the task as a citizen of your people, of Romulus, and do what you can to save your planet, to prevent the destruction.
Yeah.
You just go and kill other planets and destroy other home worlds because you're a sickening cunt.
I think he's the type of bad guy. He wants his cake and wants to eat it too. Because we know that he has come back from at least 100 years in the future. Because that's something Spock says. He comes back from 127 years in the future or something like that.
Yeah.
So he can have his cake and eat it too. He knows Spock is going to come through this black hole. I can make him pay for letting my planet die. I'm going to destroy his planet. I'm going to make him feel the way that I feel. And when I'm done, I'm going to go back to my planet. I'm going to save it and I'm going to be the hero. So he gets to be both sides of the coin. He gets to be the hero and the villain. And I genuinely believe that had he destroyed Earth, he would have then gone to Romulus and he would have advised, this is what's going to happen. We need to prepare for this. He had the
dark matter.
He had the red matter.
Red matter.
So he is able to prevent it. Like he needs to go to whoever it is, high command of the Romulan Empire, and say, this is the solution. I've saved us. I'm the hero.
Yeah.
You know, so I think he did want to have his cake and eat it too. Which is even worse. It makes him an even badder guy. He can't just see, or he waited for Spock.
Yeah.
He could have gotten the red matter and it's like, all right, Grant, now we have time.
Yeah.
But no, I have to make you suffer because you broke your promise. And in his mind, he sees it as a broken promise. But as Spock, we see with Spock's, when we're getting his exposition, his history, he was on his way. He was just too late.
Yeah.
He was there to do it.
I don't know if any other Star Trek movies put the spotlight on the Romulans, at least as the villains.
I don't think so.
Because it's always the Klingons that are the recurring villains.
Yeah, Klingons are notably the kind of bad, well, not notably, I say this, I'm coming from a place of ignorance. I haven't watched the original series. I've watched the movies, but it would have been a while ago. They would be a predominantly bad guy within the original run.
Yeah.
And then in the Next Generation, it was more the Borg.
I've heard
which
that.
are like cyborgs.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that there is a Klingon on the crew of the Next Generation. Worf. And I think that was a big deal because the Klingons had joined the Federation and he was an outlier. Like, oh look, a good Klingon, you know, in that kind of way. Like, oh look, it's someone that previously was an enemy and now they're part of the crew, you know, to show the changes of the Klingons.
But I like that they decided to choose the Romulans to be the villains in this movie. Because they do come across as very much villainous. And they're labourmen, they're miners, they're workers, they're not military, they're not tactical scheming politicians.
No.
They're not assassins of any kind. No, they're just
normal average Joes,
Yeah.
And it just so happens that their mining ship from 150 years in the future is more capable or more powerful than the technology of the time, that being the Enterprise and the other ships.
So, in watching this movie recently, what do you make of it now? And try and look at it from the set of eyes where you know that the cast of characters are new faces and overall how that is perceived. How well was the reception of that?
So when watching it this time, I was really impressed with how each of the characters were introduced. In some instances, it is not a big moment, but like you get a character introduction.
Everyone has the time shed to give them a spotlight. Like with the likes of Kirk and Spock, we have flashbacks to them they're not so much flashbacks, it's how we're introduced to them as children. And Uhura is introduced in the next time we see Kirk, which is the face of Chris Pine. And as Chris Pine is about to join the Academy, we get our fourth crew member, that Bones. And with the likes of Sulu and Chekhov, they're introduced on the bridge. And then we get the seventh member, Scotty. Not so much crammed in the introductory, like well paced out in the perfect time. But because Nero interrupted their destinies in the start of the movie, altering the course of where they should have been had they not been there. Every character here, maybe aside from Spock, was in a position on the Enterprise ship in a lower tier level.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I wanted to go with it, absolutely. In the original timeline, and as the older Spock says, the Leonard Nimoy Spock says, your father was the reason that you joined Starfleet. So in that timeline, you can imagine that Jim he's not a troublemaker. He goes and he does the Academy and he does it all the right way.
Yeah.
In this timeline, he does it the wrong way, and he goes and he's challenged by Pike to go and do it. And he says, officer, in 4 years, I'll do it in 2. Or do it in 3.
And it's good to see someone like Pike, like for his character to see something in Kirk that he's capable of being captain of his own ship. That's not something done in the movie because the script needs it to be, because it needs the wise mentor to come into the young hero to join the Federation because the movie needs to happen. No, that's in character of what Kirk is capable, as we all know Kirk is capable of.
It's not even like it's some wise guy, I knew your father, I used to work with him or anything like that. It's this guy did his dissertation on the Kelvin. Like he researched it. He knew of his father from a third party sources, and only after the fight did he look up his file. It's not like he was there to go recruit Kirk or anything like that. It was just after the fight he looked up his file, and that's when he was like trying to do a bit of good and inspire him to say like, look, you're on the wrong path here, try this. You know, we're peacekeepers, we're a humanitarian organization,
and that's just Kirk.
That's just Kirk. The rest of them then, I think,
so Bones was at a lower level. He joined because his wife took everything in the divorce, so he had nothing left to do, so he was already in medicine. So he went and joined the Federation, and because of the second attack that Nero caused, the doctor of his department, the chief medical scientist, the man in charge, was killed. So Spock tells him, well then you're in charge. And the same situation happens with Uhura, because the guy
can't speak Romulan,
and she can translate all 3 dialects apparently. So that's lore that I'm willing to.
That's kind of like how Chinese has like Mandarin and like different dialects in it. Like even though it's Chinese, there's different versions of it. So it's the same with Romulan. There's different dialects of it. So she gets promoted. She's on the bridge,
but she would not have needed to be promoted had Nero not arrived in that moment 25 years ago, causing a disruption in the time.
Or a need to translate Romulan.
And so I'd imagine the same is for Chekhov and Sulu. Like
I think Chekhov and Sulu are because they're on the bridge to begin with.
But Sulu was replacing someone else.
Oh yeah, someone else was out sick that day.
And so he just so happened to be there. And to get his little moment where he gets to charge the ship into hyperspace, hyperdrive, warp speed, and the big glorious moment to see the majestic view of the ship. We all know, as generational fans of Star Trek, have a little embarrassing moment for them all. Like, it's quite perfect actually.
It results in them not dying with all the other ships, you know. It's great.
That's true. It's savor a moment. It's similar to how this is the first chances old fans of Star Trek get to witness their eyes on the USS Enterprise ship again,
on its first voyage,
and the main character of the franchise is feeling sick, and for what should be a majestic, glorious, epic moment, it's our character is not in the good mind state to take on that, whereas Bones is, if you know what I mean. It's actually clever, I think, and it's something new, and it's not typical.
Even Scotty isn't part of the crew. He's on the ice planet, you know. He's been shunned there. He's in
an outpost, an outpost station there altogether, and it's by coincidence that he just so happened to be there. But like, what I'm trying to say is, by everyone we know are in different situations in their life as far as their role in the Federation, because Nero disrupted it.
Yeah.
He's also the one that corrected it and guided everyone we knew
back together.
Yes.
Yeah, because had he have not put Old Spock on that planet, then he wouldn't have rescued Jim and took him to the outpost and then given Scotty the formula for whatever it was, do hyperspace war
to be beamed,
energizing, to
beamed.
beam onto the ship.
Yeah.
So you're right. Yeah, I never even thought about it, that Nero is the one that fucks the timeline, but then also he's the one that everything else corrects it eventually.
Yeah. He disrupts everyone's destinies, but everyone still found themselves back where they needed to be, back where we all wanted them and expected them to be. And that's also what Nero did. Nero played a pivotal role in this, and that's what I'm saying, is like the actions he does in this movie are so monumental. He still does feel like a serviceable villain. And it's a shame, because he should be more. And I think if they had just written his character to be a little bit better, maybe he could have been a better villain than the likes of Khan, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, and Idris Elba's villain Kratos. I'm calling him Kratos, yes, because as I said, I'm not looking up on Letterboxd.
And I'm glad that by the end of the film, all the characters are in their correct positions. And I'm really glad then that we got a sequel, that it wasn't just it ends here and it's like, okay, finally we're ready to go, and then you never see anything again, which a lot of film franchises to begin with are very guilty of, like where you do this whole kind of origin story and by the end of it they're the character that you know that they are, and you never see them again then after that.
In the hands of an auteur director, this could have sparked to be a very creative idea that a creative director, writer would have wanted to do, but it's just the story he wants to tell. Like Quentin Tarantino wanted to do a Star Trek film.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
But as a standalone Star Trek film, I'd imagine he was going to write it, and he pitched it as a writer. He didn't pitch it to direct. But I couldn't imagine him revisiting that to do more Star Trek films after that. Whether Paramount wants to continue that canon event, that narrative, or whatever that was going to be, to make a direct sequel from that, that's their choice. Just like it was Paramount's choice to greenlight a sequel, and J.J. Abrams just so happened to return as a director. But yeah, in the hands of someone else, this very well could have been just a new Star Trek movie, reboot otherwise, but it turned out to be the same way as it did. It just didn't spawn a sequel. Like, I'm not even going to make a comparison, because I don't want to be intruding this discussion with any more media or film and TV. I want to focus on Star Trek, and it's just very creatively done. And I like, there's this one shot, it's when Scotty and Kirk were back on the bridge again with everyone else, and it was that moment after Spock removed himself as captainly compromised, and it was when he came back into
I
the
thought
room,
exact same shot as well, like when you finally get to see all 7 of them together.
you see the 6 of them there, and you're looking at them over Spock's shoulder, and you see that's the crew.
Yeah, that's everyone. They're all here.
That's everyone being there in the one shot, having a discussion, come up with a plan to take out the bad guy of the film. And
that's so great, because I never really noticed that shot before, but this time around I did. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it was a great shot, because you see, it's like you could not have been more perfect.
Yeah.
So I've really appreciated that. We can talk about the characters one by one. I'd like to start with Pike.
I like Pike. I really like that actor, Bruce Greenwood. I really like him as an actor.
Yeah.
And he was just a great captain. Like the perfect ideal of a captain. That's what Jim should be working towards. To be that guy.
I know that character is the protagonist of Strange New Worlds.
Oh, is he?
He is,
okay.
yeah.
See, I've not watched any of the TV shows at all.
So I don't know if he's even prominent in the original series or the original movie franchise, but I like that. It's Pike. Like, it's an iconic name in the Star Trek franchise after the bridge characters. So I like he's here, and he's in the sequel as well. He's not forgotten about.
No. You know what I love is when Jim is promoted to captain fully, like by the end of the film.
Yeah.
And he goes report to Admiral Pike to relieve him.
Yeah.
And he goes up and he says, "You are relieved," and he goes, "I am relieved." Like, just something simple, like just like that moment of proud, like, that he said, "Oh, I'll do it in 3." because he challenged him. He said, you know, you can be an officer in 2 years, you can be a captain in 4. And then the next day he comes along and he's like, I'll do it in 3. And there he is 3 years later, and he's a captain. You know,
he's very much his protege.
Yeah. In the loosest sense of the term, because he doesn't, like, we don't get to see the years of the academy training. It's very much just...
But 3 years later.
3 years later, Jim cheats on his test, and then he's aboard the Enterprise. And I love the Pike's just like, Jim, come with me. And he's like, what? And he's like, well, you're not supposed to be here anyway, so you might as well. You know, like, and then he ends up being promoted to first officer.
Yeah. I liked it as well that we needed the characters to grow, the likes of Spock and Kirk, so he had to be out of the picture, and I think him prisoner under Nemo's ship as a hostage was good. Like, it played a role as well. I like how he tried to make reason come to Nero by saying, no, you're confused. Romulus is fine. It's the planet is still here. What you're talking about, it's not happened. And he, as Nero is as a character, it's just, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care about what he can do better from here. It's just he wants to have his revenge from a timeline that no longer exists in his life. Yeah. And it's just mad if you think about it. Like, there's no negotiating, there's no coming to terms, there's no meeting him halfway, and yeah, I just like Pike. So who do you want to talk about now? Who do you want to go into?
I would say let's talk about some of the lesser characters, and by lesser I mean just people that didn't get as much screen time. So Chekhov would be the first one, the exact one.
Anton Yelchin, oh, rest in peace, man.
Yeah, what a man! Like, died so young as well.
Yeah,
and he gets a bit more screen time throughout the rest of them, which I'm glad of. That they don't just he falls to the wayside or anything. But I just think he's so cute. Like, I love his little accent. You know, when he's like, access code Victor, and it doesn't recognize him, and he has to really try to, like, just get a V out, you know. He just does that Russian accent so well. And the fact he's like 17 as well, and they're like rolling their eyes, like, oh brilliant, 17-year-old is here.
He does get a few moments in this film. Like,
he's the one that can do the beaming from the Vulcan, like, you know.
Kirk and Sulu are free falling, and the person who should be doing their job is not capable of doing it. Fair enough. Stressful situation. That leaves the door open then, so when Scotty comes along later, he can fill in that role. You know, because that person can't do these things, whereas here's the guy that created whatever you want to call it, interwarp traveling, like that you could beam someone onto a ship that's traveling at warp speed. Like, this guy is clearly better, so he's going to be the right man for the job. But in the meantime, we need someone to catch these two guys who are free falling, so that's where Chekhov can come in. So that was another moment for him to step in there, and like him running around the hallways, like, whoa, I know this, I can do this. Like, it's really good. Like, I don't know if that's what Chekhov is like in the original franchise. I don't know if he's supposed to be that young, but that was a good moment for him. I like Chekhov. Like, they did as much as they could with him as they could with anyone else. And like, I liked, like, let's say in Star Trek Beyond, he was stranded, marooned on the planet that they were shot down on with the protagonist, Kirk. Like, great bit of screen time for him to have with Chris Pine, but I felt like even then it wasn't really much to it. But that's the third movie. But we take what we can get from this film, and it was as evenly spread as it could be. What did you make of then Sulu?
Mr. Sulu. Love Mr. Sulu.
Is he referred to as Mr. Sulu?
I believe so, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. He's great. He gets a little moment to shine. He gets to get out from the chair. He gets to go down onto the mining tool that they have. He gets to have a bit of sword fighting, a bit of parachuting.
Like, does that character do fencing in the original franchise?
Yeah, like, I don't know. That's the unfortunate part about having not watched the original run, but in this timeline he does, definitely.
Oh, do you know what? I was thinking to myself, I bet this would have been very fun and great for selling action figures, because that's the only reason that there's
the jumpsuits,
the blue one, the red one, and the yellow one.
And I love the fact that we get, because there's a common joke that is made about Star Trek, which is that you're a red shirt, which means you're just there to die. You're unnamed extra that's part of the group. It's in any franchise you'll have red shirts, but even in this sequence, Sulu is in yellow, Kirk is in blue, and we have a red suit who dies immediately. He's there to die.
That guy was introduced literally as they were taking off. Like,
who's this guy that's jumping with us? It probably won't matter.
He's literally there just to die. And I really like to see John Cho pull off some athletics here, like doing full flips with a sword. Like, I'm assuming it's him. Like I'll eat the cake and assume that is John Cho.
Yeah.
Jumping midair over a sword. Like, he does it a few times. It's pretty cool, and I thought it's cool to see a character like him, like for an action figure's sake, that he's the one with the sword. He's the one who has combat training. He can fight, and like you say, oh, fencing, fancy. What was that, gay? But no, like, he kills the two Romulans there.
Yeah.
He defeats the two of them.
Threats, yeah.
Both threats. He eliminates them both. Kirk doesn't do that. So I like seeing that here. Now he is in a sense the damsel in distress because he falls off the mining device, and Kirk has to go and save him, which is when Chekhov comes in to beam them from free fall. Close call though, wasn't it?
Very, very close.
Yeah. But
I do sometimes wonder, like, when it comes to like beaming them up, like they're falling, and they beam them up just before they hit the floor.
Yeah.
And then when they're energized, they hit the floor. It's like, obviously the momentum doesn't continue because technically for them, they still hit the ground.
Yeah.
So one of those things you have to just.
I think they did hit the ground. But at the end of the movie, not to jump ahead, but like when Spock was beamed into the Enterprise again,
he was moving and then stopped.
No, he was sitting in a chair in
That's
the ship,
true.
and then he was standing the next moment.
Yeah.
So just saying.
Suspension of disbelief.
Just saying. Oh yeah, suspension of disbelief. Of course, like these characters are from Earth.
Yeah.
So
I kind of like that. I like the fact that we get like a couple of like retro things as well, like retro futuristic things.
Yeah, like,
where like at the start where he's driving the car.
Yeah.
And then you get the Nokia and then it
remember
looks
that.
down and it's an iPhone, like it's a futuristic phone, but it's still a Nokia, and it's like back then Nokias were still a thing.
Isn't it funny that we see Iowa in like the farmland area, and like all I'm thinking of, that must be like 2024 in Looper or something like that. But like no, because it's not a metropolitan city. It's not a city at all. It's just a countryside. So why would it be full of futuristic science fiction architecture or architectural structures?
You don't need them.
No.
Yeah.
So it's as real as it can be. It does feel like Mr. Sulu. Oh, yes. I don't know. George Takei does that a lot. I don't know why. He doesn't get... that's it. He doesn't get to do a whole lot after that in this movie. But
he takes command after. He does get to be the acting captain as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He does. And he's the one who arrives at the end to fight off the mining ship, the Romulan mining ship. Yeah, no, you're right there. I just like that John Cho was cast as Sulu.
I do like him.
It's nearly a perfect casting. Like, who else could be more perfect?
Around that time as well, there weren't as many, I think, prominent, like, young Asian actors that were popular enough that, you could put them in this franchise.
Well, not even popular enough, but just capable to hold their own. Because it's just funny to think about. Like, Chris Pine was obviously famous at this time when Chris Hemsworth wasn't.
Yeah, it's funny, all right.
Funny to think about that.
Even Zoe Saldana, like, don't forget, she would have had this followed by Avatar. Like, Avatar was 2009.
Yeah, same year.
That's
no
nuts.
Guardians of the Galaxy, no indie Oscar nominee winning pictures. All I could recall her from is the likes of that one scene she slaps Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's it. That's
where's her spin-off? Anywho, what about then? Who do you want to go next?
Well, we're talking about Zoe Saldana, so talk about Uhura.
Yeah, Uhura. I like how she was introduced near seamlessly. She's the female lead. She's got to be next to be introduced, and I like how because she's impressed by Kirk's understanding of the fancy word to describe the study of languages.
You know what? It's not even that difficult of a word. It's xenolinguistics.
Okay.
Xeno, alien, linguistics, language. In the context of the film, or not even in the context of the film, if someone said to me, "Oh yeah, I do xenolinguistics," I would be able to figure that out.
Is that a real word?
I mean, like there isn't a study of alien languages because we don't
But
know any.
Is xenolinguistics? Did I say that
right?
right?
It's a made up word.
Oh,
yeah.
so it is made up.
Well, every word is made up.
Come on now.
No, but like it is. Every word is made up.
Oh, right. Okay.
But you can define exactly what the word is because it comes from two different things. Like we call aliens xeno, like xenomorphs, and linguistics language. So you put the two words together, it creates that word.
But is that what xeno means? Is that an actual thing? Is it? Oh, I didn't realise that. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, made up.
I'm pretty sure like xeno, like not in an alien sense. I would have heard it in terms of like xenophobic, which is like that you'd be quite racist, or you'd be like xenophobia is like a fear of people that aren't you.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it's usually used as a racial term as far as I'm aware, xenophobia. So yeah, xenophobia, like something that isn't us aliens, you know, it fits into that category as well, I suppose.
Turn into a real educational discussion.
And I hope I'm correct, because otherwise I'll be taking this out.
Yeah.
So I hope that I haven't come across as ignorant in this aspect.
I like that she plays a role in feeding information indirectly to Kirk, which ultimately leads him to understand we're warping into a trap.
Yeah, he gets to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
I think I like her assertiveness as well when she goes to Spock and is like, I'm on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't want to show any favoritism.
Yeah.
And you get the hint that, oh yeah, they're together. I didn't want to show any favoritism. And it's like, no, I'm on the Enterprise. And then he just like full on, yep, you're on the Enterprise. But what I don't like is that kind of after that point, and after, like, you know, she's promoted to the bridge, she doesn't really have much to do other than being there for Spock. Like, she is just kind of an accessory to him.
Are they together in the original series?
No, I'm pretty sure she and Jim are together. Or not together, but they do share a kiss. In fact,
Yeah, I've heard this.
so in the original run, William Shatner and Nichelle Nichols, who played the original Uhura, they shared the first interracial kiss on TV. And I'm pretty sure the producers, they wanted to have an option where they didn't kiss just in case.
Yeah.
And they messed up every single take that didn't include the kiss. So they had to include it. And it was like a really progressive moment of seeing a white man and a black woman kissing on TV. Like that just, it had never been done before. So
Proper pioneers for the human race is what I say.
there's a lot of I'm like, Star Trek as a whole was a show that took issues and like did social commentary on things in that modern day America, that things that were happening in that moment, and put them in a sci-fi futuristic setting, and was able to critique it then. Like, there's an episode where there are characters, they come across an alien race who are at war because one side of the planet is white and black and the other side are black and white. Like, if the right side is white and the left side is black, the opposite is that the left side is white and the right side is black. And it's a whole commentary on racism and like how these differences, like, we're not that different really, are like what are these people fighting over is that their skin color is ever so slightly different, you know, like how in our real world some people's skin color isn't exactly the same as your skin color. So it was always very progressive, and so I think it's just a shame that in this one, we, beyond her getting promoted and her being able to have that information that sets the characters up to do well, but that kind of happens in the first act, you know, at the beginning of the second act really, and after that she is kind of just an accessory to Spock to help him on his emotional journey, I suppose, and like dealing with the fact that his planet and mother are dead.
But as far as the relationship goes, I do appreciate seeing Uhura with Spock, understanding he's not capable of reciprocating the same emotions.
Yeah, not outwardly.
Yeah.
I think she like, there has to be some level of that.
She understands.
She understands that, and it's probably from her studies, like she knows languages for aliens and probably does know a lot about other cultures and stuff like that, and so she does know that, oh yeah, he won't reciprocate it outwardly in a, you know, lovey-dovey kind of sense, but she will know that.
That's why she appeared to accept Spock's response when she asks him, what do you need, tell me, and he says, I need everyone to continue performing admirably, and she takes that proudly as if, yes, I will do that for you, my partner, as opposed to, yes, I'll do that for you, my captain, because that's him. That's the best he can do to reciprocate her consoling him. Yeah. And her embracing him and her being there for him. Yeah. That's her understanding. She understands that is the best she'll get from Spock in terms of being there for him.
And even though it isn't an emotional response, he has very clearly said exactly what he needs. And so then she can understand that. It's like, oh no, I've asked, what can I do to help you? And he's given me an answer. It's not like, you know, you're with someone, it's like, what can I do? You don't need to do anything. Like, that's not helpful at all. But in this situation, even though it's not a response that we would normally say, he's given a response and she goes, okay, if this will help him, I'm his girlfriend, I will do that, you know.
Well, we're already halfway strong, so let's talk about him then.
Admiral Spock.
Admiral Spock, Leonard Nimoy, Commander Spock, Zachary Quinto.
Oh yeah, he's not an admiral at all. Commander. I meant to say commander. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think that he's great. I really actually like Zachary Quinto as Spock. I think he does it really well, and I think he has the hardest job because he has to play Spock, and he is being more so than any other character directly compared to the original actor, because he has to not only feature in the same film as that original actor playing the same role, he has to have scenes with him.
Yeah.
You know, where you have to believe as an audience member that Zachary Quinto at some point will age to be Leonard Nimoy.
Never mind looks, just in terms of character, behaviour, understanding that this is the character we expect the face of Leonard Nimoy to portray. Like, never mind the fact that he doesn't look like a Leonard Nimoy when Leonard Nimoy was his age. That Zachary Quinto has to play this character and be compared to the guy we all know him as. Like, it's more of a task than Alden Ehrenreich had to do when Alden Ehrenreich was playing a young Han Solo.
Yeah. If he had scenes up against Harrison Ford, then it's like, this is an even harder role. So the fact that Zachary Quinto has to do it against Leonard Nimoy in the same film, we're getting multiple scenes. We're getting scenes with Jim talking to Leonard Nimoy, interacting with him. He's a pivotal part. And then as it comes to the end, the two of them have a conversation together.
Now, let's be honest here. This is our introduction to Star Trek. So when I think Spock, it might be classical to think, oh yeah, Leonard Nimoy, because it's as prominent as ever. But my Spock is Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, he would be, and it's for both of us. Like, this is both of our introductions to Star Trek, so it is this cast.
Even so, when we see another actor in, let's say, Strange New Worlds, an actor there plays Spock. I don't watch those shows, but I just know that. And to me, that's like, but Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, you're always, you want it to be the character, the actor you know. Yeah.
I think Spock might be my favourite character, at least in this movie. And it's not just because he's the standout with the looks and the ears and the eyebrows and the personality.
Can you do the Vulcan hand gesture?
Yes, I can.
Show me. Yes. Live long and prosper.
He
can't. Zachary Quinto can't.
Can he not?
No, they glued his fingers together.
No way.
Yeah, because he can do the separation, but he can't put his fingers together. So if you actually watch where he does it, he very awkwardly kind of holds his hand funny, where you can tell his hands are glued together, or his fingers are glued together.
You just can't do that. Because
I could do that to the same level that I can do that, like just holding my fingers out like that. It's so strange when someone says they can't do something that I can do. Just like,
how crazy is it that something so simple that every person on Earth should be able to do is now, when it's done, it's referred to a fictional alien race.
Yeah,
that's the salute. It's crazy to think, like,
because that's not something that we would do ever in our life. Like,
no,
we'll give a thumbs up or we'll give the middle finger, but like, this gesture here is exclusively Star Trek, and everyone knows it's Star Trek.
It's Vulcan.
Yeah,
like, specifically it's Vulcan, but yeah, Star Trek. But it's something so simple to execute. It's like, how come it's not been done before the 1960s when originally Star Trek came out? But I like that we're introduced to Spock as a child here, and look at all these fancy architectural structures built on rocks. Talk about being upper class, all-knowing, wise, dry cunts. But I assume you have new insults for me today. Affirmative. Fucking dork. put these guys in a room with the likes of a Kirk or someone like that.
They're all dorks. They all have the same dopey haircuts. They're all like, exactly like that. Like, affirmative. You know,
like high eyebrow.
Super neutral.
Like, if you actually look at the likes of these Vulcans, the actors playing them, stare at the eyebrow part where the hair is not there. It looks weird. If you look at Zachary Quinto in the area of his eyebrow where the hair is not there, it looks as if he's got no eyebrows at all. And then I'm trying to even put more of my attention on where the artificial is pasted on his forehead, because that's not how a human eyebrow grows. Yeah. Apparently it's a fact that he is half human. That's consistent with Leonard Nimoy's character. So I'm going to assume that this is the first time in Star Trek lore, in the big screen of course, or a little screen, doesn't matter, that they put some time to explore the fact that he's half human. So he deals with conflicting ideology on embracing his human side.
I think it would have been this is the first time we see it like in a flashback, or like, you know, we're seeing a young Spock. It would have always been prominent in the sense that, yeah, he does have conflicting ideologies, and also then can, even though most Vulcans don't express their emotions, don't express their anger, love, hate, sadness, it gave an excuse for the original Leonard Nimoy Spock to have those, because, oh, I'm half human. I can't control these urges sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like even I think it's a great moment where the older Spock, when he does the mind meld with Kirk, and he comes out of it and Kirk is crying and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, emotional transference is sometimes a part of it, but he's perfectly fine. Like, he's learned to control his emotions because of his Vulcan side, and Jim is crying, and it's like, oh, that's how he feels right now, and he's holding all that in. And then that great moment where it's like, you have to convince everyone that you're emotionally compromised. He's like, how am I going to do that? And he's like, Jim, I am emotionally compromised. Like, I am the same person. We're talking about a different version of me. And I'm telling you, I am emotionally compromised. So is he. It's so great.
Well, his home planet was just destroyed.
Yeah. And and that Spock doesn't even know that his mother is dead. His mother was killed in it.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine that the younger Spock is even worse off.
When I was watching the scene again, every time I think, don't have her stand so close to the edge.
Yeah.
Like, when Spock learned from Chekhov that the planet was going to be evaporated into a black hole, he doesn't hesitate to beam onto his home planet. Could have beamed a little bit closer to the caves to grab his elders rather than run to it. But I like that he made a quick decision in that limited plan to get his elders out of there. Like, specifically his elders. Like, he had the bridge communicate to do a planet-wide evacuation on Vulcan. That's a big thing for 6 billion citizens to do in a matter of minutes, while Spock has no choice but to get his elders out because they are tasked with preserving their culture and history of their species, and rightly so. Yeah, that'll be important down the line.
But he also, his human side,
his mother's there.
His mother is there.
Yeah,
you know, at the end of the day, his dad is one of the elders. He assumes that his mom will be there as well. Like, if he had knowledge that his mom was at home, he would have gone home. Yeah, you know, I do truly believe that.
And he, watch the scene as well. He grabs his mother's hand and he brings her with him, whereas everyone taggles behind. And some of the elders don't make it out as well. It's like, consequences are happening here. And he got his elders out. He got his full Vulcan species out, but not his mother. Yeah, I think to this day, when I recently watched it to when I first watched it, that still kind of hits hard.
It stings. Yeah,
it does sting when his mother falls, because when Chekhov says, I'm losing her, she's still falling, so she's still alive, and he's trying to get her, but he just can't. And everyone beams back to the ship, and Spock's just there, and he just can't express how he feels. And the acting captain's log, Spock delivers I feel the anger Spock has when he says the war criminal Nero, because he's declared war on the Federation. He attacked their ship,
committed a genocide, destroyed a planet.
Yeah. I bet there's a lot of frustration when he's delivering that line. But then he says 10,000 Vulcans managed to escape. I am now a member of an endangered species. There's no going back. If this franchise has continued, if the Kelvin franchise continued, that's canon that you need to stand by.
Yeah. You can't have multiple Vulcans. Like, seeing a Vulcan should be rare. Rare occurrence.
That's why when we see some in Star Trek Beyond visiting Spock, it's like, oh my god, Vulcans!
Yeah. What's going on here? This must be a big deal.
Yeah.
And it is, yeah.
And it's just crazy. It's a big act to do, and it's one that just shouldn't go unnoticed. It's the destruction of a planet. It's done here in a way that cannot be compared to when Star Wars did it, I think. And I really like seeing on display how tactical Spock is as a fighter.
Yeah, it's like the way he fights is like he's memorized the moves. Yeah, there's no freedom to it. I'm going to do exactly these things.
It's literally as if he knows the right block, the right hit, the right maneuver he needs to do to take out his opponent. Like, he does it at the start when he's a kid. It's like, beat the shit out of that bully. Affirmative, dork. But when he's fighting Kirk, it's like, Kirk is the protagonist. He's supposed to come out on top because he's the protagonist. Nope. Spock as a character this is him. You'd expect Spock to deliver lines a certain way, no differently. You should expect him to come out on top on a hand-to-hand combat. Like, Kirk can hold his own, as he did at the start of the bar when he's drunk, but he's not going to go up against Spock, because every move Spock makes in a physical altercation is calculated like
Absolutely.
a robot.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100% agree.
And I think that adds more to why I like that character, because he's not the protagonist, Kirk is, but he still stands on his own 2 feet and walks out of the bridge saying, I'm emotionally compromised.
Yeah, it's not that he lets Kirk go and Kirk says, you're emotionally compromised, you can't be here. He knows it himself.
Yeah, but he doesn't stay either way. He doesn't continue resuming command of the ship.
No.
And after the whole film, he doesn't try to take control of the ship again.
Yeah, or he doesn't assume that he's the first officer.
Yeah.
He comes in and asks, and he says, I can provide character references if
Yeah.
you need it, you know?
Yeah. So I like that a lot. I like how on board he was then with the plan after nearly strangling Kirk to death.
Yeah.
And I like that his father, Spock's father, the unemotional Vulcan, had to step in to pull the reins on him.
Yeah.
Like, waiting for his father to shout Spock, because I've seen the movie so many times. I know, come on, we need to get to this point so we can stop strangling the guy
You get a little bit afraid for him. It's
Yeah.
like, what if this is the version where he kills him by mistake?
and I like the scene he has with his father. So I feel anger for Mother's death, and I like that callback that his father said he married his mother because it seems
logical.
Is logical,
Yeah.
because he was ambassador of Earth. Well, no, like that was what I was supposed to say on paper to my colleagues, but I loved her, and I like that.
Yeah, it's nice. It shows that it reassures Spock that yes, even his father has emotions. And
Yeah.
we don't show them, but I still have them.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice. It's a nice moment.
And if you think about it, it was Spock who took out Nero. He crashed a ship with the red matter into it, so he caused the destruction of that. So like, he even admitted, like, no, I don't really want to go help them if they surrendered.
Yeah.
So it's a growth for him, whereas it was growth for Kirk as well to offer assistance. But as Nero was a scrappy little sourpuss, he says, I'd rather die 1,000 deaths in agony before accepting help from you. And it's like, well, shitbox, you made your bed.
Yeah. Okay. It's as simple as that. It's like, all right,
You got it.
you got it. See you later.
Yeah.
Fire everything we got.
But yeah, Zachary Quinto did a great job. It was a challenging one, I'd imagine, as well.
I think, for the fact that, like I said earlier, the fact that he's the most directly compared to his original counterpart.
Yeah.
He does a great job for standing on his own.
And Leonard Nimoy being here is the equivalent of Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher returning in the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Leonard Nimoy being here is the equivalent of that.
Yeah.
And they didn't try to force William Shatner.
They never did it again. They never tried to get anyone else in.
No, but how could they?
Yeah, because it doesn't fit the story. It fits the story here,
But
and
it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't fit the story. It's that they're dead.
Yeah.
William Shatner's Kirk is dead in the timeline of Leonard Nimoy is, because Leonard Nimoy's Spock is 120 years old.
Yeah. So it wouldn't make sense. Yeah, but that's what I mean. It doesn't make sense for those characters to be there, so they're not.
Well, yeah, because they died.
Yeah, exactly.
They're humans.
Yeah, so they're not like forcing any way for these characters to be here, and they're trying to go back to the time travel or anything like that.
In fact, they were going to force bringing back Chris Hemsworth to play Kirk's father in a potential fourth Star Trek film.
Yeah.
One that never came to be, but they were going to make that fourth film and have Chris Pine act against Chris Hemsworth as father and son, more so because of the popularity of Chris Hemsworth, and they could advance whatever potential narrative they could from that dynamic, that he's the father that he should have gotten to know, but he didn't because of the alteration in this Kelvin timeline. I would like to talk about range Carl Urban displays as Bones, because of how much we know him as Butcher in The Boys.
I think Bones is my favourite character in this film.
Well then, fire away.
I love Bones. I just think he is so funny. I love how he's so consistent with the original version. You know, God damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a biochemist. You know, all these like these Boneisms.
Yeah, that's his catchphrase, essentially. He
God
says,
damn it, Jim.
He says that like every season of television. He'll say that every once a movie, and it's like, God damn. God damn it, Jim, I'm a so-and-so.
I'm a doctor, not a so-and-so.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that he gets these little, these bonisms of, we have a saying, if you're going to the Kentucky Derby, you don't leave your prize stallion at home. And then Spock turns it round on him, and he's like, calls him a hobgoblin as well, and stuff like that. I just love him.
Pointy-eared bastard, and you're your Vulcan mind.
That's a brilliant one. Are you out of your Vulcan mind? That is hilarious. That is so funny. It's a very, very clever piece of dialogue. I really like the original when he gets on the ship.
Yeah.
And he's like, space is death. You know, like, I'm going to die in space. Like, he's so afraid. But then
because
by the time 3 years later,
yeah,
he is fine. You know, when he's taking Jim up to the Enterprise and he's looking out the window and he's grand. Yeah. Whereas in the original, he's like, I was fine in the bathroom with no windows. Like, the development has happened in those 3 years.
Yeah.
And the fact that his nickname, it's a great nickname, you know, because of that one interaction where she took everything from me except my bones.
Yeah.
And now he's called Bones. Like, I wish I had a nickname that cool.
It is a cool nickname,
It's
isn't
very
it?
good. I love it, like a natural nickname. You know, that it just fits the person. Your nickname fits you.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And Bones fits him.
My nickname is a me.
Yeah, you.
Raj.
The Raj, yeah.
I
don't call you, like, most of the time I don't call you Brian. I tell my parents, like, oh yeah, I'm going to see the Raj. And they're like, who? I'm like, oh, Brian.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
But that's because most people don't know you. Well, we have a friend group and there's 2 Brians. And one Brian we call Brian and we call you the Raj. That's, you know that. I'm just saying that to the viewers.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, call him the Raj.
I really do like Carl Urban as Bones throughout the whole series because I can't recall what he gets to do much in Star Trek Into Darkness, but into Beyond. He takes a break from being Kirk's best friend, and that's how I perceive Bones as Kirk's best friend. Like, they'll say that Spock and Kirk are best friends, but they're more than best friends. Whereas Bones and Kirk, they're by debt what best friends should be. Like, they were cadet buddies, they were study buddies, they were roommates, you know. And in Star Trek Beyond, Bones is marooned with Spock, and I really like that little dynamic, like playing off each other like that. Like,
Beyond does a great job of that, of putting characters together that haven't been together before, you know, and we get to see the dynamics of them.
And it was good. I really like that. And Carl Urban, he's from New Zealand.
Carl Urban plays a lot of great characters, and he's a lot of range. Like, he plays Bones, he plays Billy Butcher in The Boys, he plays one of the
he was in
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, he was
one of the Rahiram.
I can't remember his name in the Lord of the Rings, but he was in that.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah, Judge Dredd. I forgot about that.
That's a movie that needs a sequel. And you know what is brilliant? He committed. He didn't take the helmet off. He didn't need the vanity of taking that helmet off and people seeing his face. He is the law. I am the law.
Last chance, hot shot. What? I said hot shot. As he ignites his voice commanded weapon to fire a hot shot bullet at him. He was even in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
What a wasted character, or a wasted actor for a character. But Carl Urban, like, everyone knows him now as Billy Butcher, but he's been around.
Yeah,
he's been around for
a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was even in that Doom movie, the original 90s Doom movie. He's the main character.
DOOM.
DOOM, yeah. Doom.
With Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
That didn't come out in the 90s.
Was it 2000s?
Early mid 2000s.
Oh, well, he's in that too.
Yeah, I like Carl Urban. I want more.
I like Carl Urban. Yeah. I want more Carl Urban too.
Yeah. He's great. What did you make of Simon Pegg as Scotty here?
So Scotty, I feel as though, is very reminiscent of Benji. I feel like both of those characters feel like you could switch either of them and they would fit from Mission Impossible.
Minus the Scottish accent.
I feel as though Scotty could do well on the IMF and Benji could do well on the Enterprise.
I don't know, I disagree. And I'm not saying that for the sake of similarities between the characters, because they are the smart guy of the group, essentially. That's how I perceive Scotty as. He's the smart one of the group. Yeah. But the same as Benji in Mission Impossible. Not to mention that J.J. Abrams directed both films that he introduced Simon Pegg as the character he is directed by J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams directed MI3 with the introduction of Simon Pegg as Benji. Same here with Star Trek. So, look, he's friends with him, I guess. He brought him in. But I think he works great as a comic relief and an eventual dramatic actor. See, I wonder if that episode released. But I really liked Simon Pegg as Scotty. Like, he should not be the one to stand out, as he does not look like what we all know Scotty to be. You know, loss of hair, no mustache. he does come across as goofy, and he eventually captures the essence of what that character Scotty is.
Mm-hmm.
But I like him here. I think he's needed as part of the ensemble.
Yeah.
And he's the last one to be introduced, and he has little screen time, but he does advance in terms of the minutes he's in the films in the 2 sequels.
Yeah.
He even was a writer on the 3rd one. So
Don't get me wrong, like I really do like him. I like Simon Pegg.
but everyone plays a role that we need them to play. Last but not least, Chris Pine.
Captain James T. Kirk. One of my favourite Chris's. I'd say probably my favourite Chris.
Yeah, everyone would be quick to say he's a favourite Chris. He's always in the good stuff. He's
I see him less often, so I pay more attention when I do see him.
Yeah, I often think he'd be the wise one out of the lot. Like
Yeah.
he's the more. If you put all Chris's into the same room, who's going to be the one you'd want to follow and lead? And don't say Chris Hemsworth because he's Captain America. No, I'm talking about in a real life situation.
Yeah.
I feel like Chris Pine is the one.
Yeah. And of course, when we're talking about the Chris's, we're talking Chris Pine, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, and Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, the Chris's.
Yeah, the Chris's. Everyone knows the Chris's. I think he's so like magnetic. Like I just think he's a great leader, and I think he's great in the serious bits. He's great in the comedic bits, like that. Like you were saying there earlier, when he's been given the vaccines by Bones, and he looks down his hands and they've plumped up 3 times the size.
But just the way he delivered that, yeah, and then he raised his hands into frame on screen.
Yeah,
Like that, it was good.
it's very funny.
I like the I am Spock bullshit. I like how he exudes confidence as if he's going to fall flat on his face, but he doesn't. He actually comes out on top most of the time. He goes with his gut because of the Kelvin timeline being created. On surface, he's rowdy, drunk, erratic, not to be taken seriously, less than proper than the standards of what the Federation expects of you. But he eventually becomes that. Like, look at him when he's captain of the Enterprise in the sequels.
Yeah,
So to think about the crazy redneck gun maniac hillbilly from Smoking Aces was cast to be the lead actor and protagonist of your, on paper, reboot franchise of Star Trek for a modern audience. Did you see Smoking Aces?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay, that was a real ensemble, and Chris Pine is in it. And
Yeah, he just wouldn't have been your first choice, having seen that, and then you go, who would I get to play James T. Kirk?
I'd imagine a lot of friends were made when they announced him as Kirk. Now, I'm sure he auditioned no different than Chris Pratt did, being casted as Star-Lord. So the casting process would have been heavy, but he didn't copy William Shatner.
No, not at all. I don't feel as though there's a connected line in the same way that Zachary Quinto and Leonard Nimoy is. I don't feel as though that is there for Chris Pine and
Now,
Shatner.
if you're a devoted fan of Star Trek, the original series, it might be a little bit jarring to take in Chris Pine as the same consistent, canonized Kirk we all know. But I think after watching the movie, you're going to forget all that, and you're just going to enjoy Chris
I think
Pine
he's
as Kirk.
a great leader. He's funny. He's enigmatic. He's magnetic. He's a ladies' man as well. Like, we see him trying to chat up Uhura. He's with her roommate and everything like that. Like, I think he's...
I like that, I like that species, Orion, the green humanoid species.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Star Trek Lower Decks, and one of the Lower Deck characters is an Orion, and she's I'm talking about a cartoon.
I get you. I know
raunchy
what
Star
you mean.
Trek.
I didn't know the name of the race.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny that she was roommates with Uhura, Zoe Saldana, who would eventually go on to play Gamora in green skin makeup.
After just being blue.
Yeah, after just being blue.
Yeah, it's funny stuff like that. But yeah, overall, great cast and spawned good sequels.
A fun time. I genuinely do think this film is fun. I've got a list on my Letterboxd. It's a private list where I just have films I want to rewatch. I never take this out of that. It's always in my rewatch list.
Okay.
Even when I rewatch it, I'm like, I'm leaving it in there because it's just like one that I always want to watch.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get a 4th film.
I don't think so either. But what I think Paramount should do is they should make another film within this timeline, but do The Next Generation. Do Picard and reboot that franchise and have it still be consistent with this universe.
But should they reboot it, or should they do what they did here in terms of rebooting it?
I think continue with this timeline.
Continue with this timeline.
Yeah, and have the Next Generation crew. And so we have a whole new crew, but it's not beholden to that TV series. Just continue it on from here. Because the Next Generation is a sequel series to that original Star Trek.
But that Next Generation more or less concluded with the 3 season of Picard.
Yeah.
So you'd have to...
This is an altered timeline. Just continue on this timeline.
Oh, yeah.
So all that stuff in that original timeline happened.
Yeah.
Because it's, Spock was 100 years past that. So
that's
fine.
actually really interesting. Yeah.
And presumably that timeline also continued, just no longer with Spock.
Yeah.
So just do it here now with the Next Generation.
It was a question I pondered. Where is Spock in the Next Generation timeline? And I don't think anyone could answer that.
No, he's in the Kelvin timeline. He's moved timeline.
Well, as a result of 2009.
Yeah.
But before that, it's like...
Probably just on Vulcan.
It's the same question I would have. Where is Mon Mothma now during the sequel trilogy? It's a question I have like that.
Yeah.
Because the timeline of Star Trek, like Star Wars, is so long and vast that so many characters were introduced. A lot of their fates are not presented to us on screen and therefore not canon.
Yeah. You can't fully put a bookend on it.
Yeah.
Because, it's so vast.
So, like, I would ask myself, when and where did the characters of the USS Enterprise died? Did they die in battle? Did they retire? Are they still ongoing? Spock, I'm sure, ages the longest, so that's why he's the only one there, but it's just a question I had.
Yeah. If I can ask you a question to end things on, if we were to get another Star Trek film in this timeline, whether that be with this crew or with the Next Generation crew, who would you like to direct it?
Direct it?
Yeah.
So who would I want to come in to direct a Star Trek film?
Yeah.
Put me on the spot here, man.
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
I really can't.
I can give you one. I can give you mine because I thought about this.
All right, well, tell me yours and let's see if I can conjure up a name quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Gareth Edwards.
That's a great choice.
I feel as though what he did with Star Wars was quite good, and what he did with the creator of having a kind of down-to-earth futuristic... It's still futuristic, but still, it takes place on Earth.
Yeah.
I feel as though that was what this Star Trek felt like, where even though it's the future, you can still see the roots of it. Like, even when they're walking around the Enterprise, it still feels like a human-made ship.
Yeah.
So I would really like to see what Gareth Edwards would do in this universe.
That's really interesting. That's a great choice.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say a name because he was attached to direct a new Star Trek film. In fact, the 4th Star Trek film of this franchise, of this Kelvin timeline. And I think you'll back me up after having watched Fantastic Four First Steps. And I think Matt Shakman would be very good. Matt Shakman has not directed a lot.
No, but what he has directed, I've seen. So I think he did a lot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then WandaVision, and now Fantastic Four. He's done something else though that I can't put.
He
my
was
finger
part
on.
of WandaVision.
Yeah,
He's director. He wasn't a showrunner of WandaVision, but he was the director of a few episodes.
What else did he do? There was something else that he's definitely done that I was like, I've definitely seen. Oh, he's done a couple of episodes of Game of Thrones. That's where I've seen his name recently. So yeah, Matt Shakman, I would put faith in him for a Star Trek one, absolutely.
Yeah, well, he was attached to direct it before Paramount lost him to Fantastic Four because they announced all these names.
They were so stupid with that.
Very stupid.
They announced that they were doing it and announced all these people returning without having spoken to them, without renegotiating contracts or anything like that, and then
good luck getting Carl Urban out of his routine with the boys.
Yeah,
and
good luck with making a movie, and then going to the actors and saying, "Oh, by the way, can you be in this?" And it's like, well, you're adding an extra 20 mil to my payday.
Yeah,
and
they've
already announced it. So,
and look, realistically, these movies didn't make a whole lot of money, which is why they can't afford to make it. Paramount can't.
Yeah, just, like it's an effects intense series.
Yeah,
full stop.
Before we wrap things up, I just want to say I really thought the use of iconic lines and phrases in this movie was some of the best I've ever seen in a reboot, relaunch, revisit for modern audiences. Let me start.
I snap my fingers there because we are just so in sync with this movie, because I was genuinely thinking that. I was like, don't forget to bring these up. Don't forget to bring these up. I could not agree with you more. I think that the way that they say iconic lines, it's not like a huge fan servicey moment. It's just within the movie itself, so and it makes sense.
In the height of Vulcan about to be destroyed, and Spock runs to the beam, and you hear Kirk tell him, "Don't go. Don't be stupid." And Kirk and Spock is already kneeling down, zoning into the open space, thinking about getting his family out, while the camera tracks up to him. Kirk's voice still being heard, and Spock delivers the line, "Energize."
Yeah. And it's not even like a big, huge moment of like a musical cue or anything like that.
The camera doesn't go close up to his face. No. It committed to the setting it was.
Yeah, energize. And he straight away go.
Yeah.
And it happens so many times, like set phasers to stun. Like lots of little bits.
He says that when he realizes Kirk was beamed back onto the ship. And it's like, that's a little bit of his emotion on his human side coming out.
The only time that there's any kind of fan servicey moment is when Kirk and Scotty are about to leave, and old Spock gives us then finally the live long and prosper, and they don't even like milk it for anything. It's that moment, and then later on they give each other the the two Spocks give each other the hand gesture, and he says, "I think if I said it, it would be a bit gratuitous, considering," and he just gives him another thing, so they don't even like double down on it. But I want to end the episode on this, right? This is the last thing, okay? Because I want to say the best moment of the film, I think, honestly, is when after Kirk is made captain at the end, they're all applauding, and it goes up into the balcony, and Spock is there, and it's a quiet little moment, and he goes, "Engines on full." And then it cuts to the bridge, and they all give like this rundown of as they're gonna like take off on their next voyage.
Yeah.
And then it ends with the classic Star Trek motto, or the initial kind of speech, boldly going where no one has gone before. Space, the final frontier. I love it so much. It's great. I'm going to end the episode here, and I'm going to play it right at the end. Okay, so I want to thank you, Brian, so much. I had a great time doing this. I'm so glad you brought that up. I was so afraid. I genuinely had forgotten about it, so I'm so glad that you brought it up. But thank you so much for joining me, Brian, and thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this Spotlight episode, make sure to subscribe to us for new episodes every single Wednesday, as well as bonus episodes every other weekend. If you have a suggestion for a Spotlight or anything you'd like to hear us talk about, make sure to send it in to talkingpicturespodcast1@gmail.com. Make sure that you're following all of our social medias. They're down in the links below, as are normally our trailer of the week and recommendations and stuff like that. And Brian, any final words before we let these people go?
Live long until the next one.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Her ongoing mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.